Hey guys, I'm glad to see that the tutorial I put together for CarnEvil seems to be working for everybody. Hopefully, uh, there's no real issues with getting it to work. I've helped a few people work out the bugs in it, but what I seem to be getting a lot of comments on, and I guess I didn't include this in the tutorial itself, so that's pretty much my fault, is trying to get the mouse to work as a light gun, and also assigning keys to Mame to fit for the reload and whatever other configuration you want. But I am putting this little supplemental tutorial together so that that can be explained, and hopefully with the primary tutorial and this one, everybody can get it to work and uh, have fun with it. Okay, so if you have any other questions at the end of this tutorial, just shoot me a comment or question and I will try to get back to you and answer it as quick as I can. All right. Alright guys, I'm going to walk you through this calibration process for the mouse to be like your light gun for CarnEvil. So bring up your main menu here in Mame and go down to the configuration options. Double click. Go to your settings, come down to advanced options. Double click that. So then once you're on this menu, just scroll down to the input options here. Okay. You want to make sure that the mouse is checked as on, and a lot of times the joystick is already defaulted as on. You want to turn that off. So all these should be off except for your mouse, and this coin lockout you can just leave on. That's not going to matter. But you do want to make sure that the mouse is checked on because that is what you're using as your light gun. Okay. Once you have that checked and everything looks like my screen here, hit your escape key. All right, you'll be back at the settings menu, hit your save configuration, hit your escape key again. It'll bring you back to your main menu. Now, you're going to start the game, and this is where we're going to configure uh, your reticle with your mouse so that you can move it around like I'm doing here. Okay, so double click and you'll come up with your reticles here. If it's not completely on, don't worry about it. When this next menu comes up, which is this one, hit F2. It should blink for a second, and then you will get this text on your screen. You'll wait a few seconds, and then this menu will come up. It's your CarnEvil main menu for audits, gun calibrations, all these different things that you can do, but you do not want to mess with that stuff unless you really have to. You use the plus or minus key to go up and down with the menu. Go and highlight your gun calibration, okay? Now, before we go any further, this is what I'm going to advise you to do. You're going to hit your tab key on your keyboard. It's going to bring you to your main controls here for any devices you have hooked up here. Use your arrow key and go down to input this machine, okay? Hit enter. What you want to do when you're here, you can use your arrow keys again. Go to P2 button 1 and see what it is assigned to. Okay, so what this is if you had a second light gun, this is going to be your fire button. Okay, so it assigns it to a key on the keyboard because you don't have a light gun assigned. Okay, see what this letter is. If it's G like mine, that's fine. If it's A, that's fine too. You don't have to change it. You can if you want, but all you need to do is know what it is. Okay, so in this case, it's G. Now the other thing I'm going to show you to do here is how to change these different settings for the buttons. Okay, so in this case here, P1 button 2 and P1 button 1 are going to be your mouse that you're using currently for your light gun. That is the first player, player 1. Okay, and so in my case, I have control or mouse B0 set, which is going to be your left mouse button, which is going to be your fire button. Okay, or in this case on the keyboard, it will be your control key as well. Okay, the thing that a lot of people have been asking me about is changing the reload button. That is going to be your P1 button 2. On mine, I have it set for the right mouse button, which is the mouse B1, and or default, it should be on your keyboard, should be the Alt. Okay? Now, you can change that however you want, but I'm going to show you how you actually add the mouse button 1, your right mouse button, because most of these default to only being the keyboard. Okay? So the first thing you're going to do is hit the Enter key on your keyboard, and you're going to get these two little arrows up here. All right? Then the next thing you want to do is actually click your right mouse button. It'll come up there, you'll see it as mouse B1. So now it is assigned to your mouse as the reload for your second button. Now I would suggest you hit the Enter again and you reassign the Alt key, which adds it as well. So now you should, if you did it right, have mouse B1 and or Alt as your reload. Okay? So if you're familiar with Mame at all, these different buttons in here are what controls the different things that happen with your machine that it's pretending to be. In this case here, coin 1 is assigned to 5 generally as default so that you can add coins or credits. Okay. Player 1 start is generally always 1. Same thing with player 2 is 2. Coin 2 is 6. It's pretty self-explanatory. You can use what I showed you to change the P1 button 2 to assign any keys here you want in that method. I would suggest you leave it the way it is unless there's a certain combination you like, but that you can leave alone. Just remember, you do need to know what the second light gun, or on this case the keyboard, shows as the P2 button 1, and I'll tell you why after we get to the calibration point. So just make sure you make a note of what this particular letter is. In my case it's G. So once you've done this and you've done what you needed to do in order to assign the button for the mouse for reload or Alt, or if you left it alone, that's fine. Okay, hit your Tab key again. You'll be back here to the gun calibration. Okay, now to select the gun calibration, you're going to hit F2. You're going to get this menu. You're going to be able to take the crosshair or reticle that's in the center here, and you'll see this little flashing X up in the left top right corner. You want to put it as best in the center of that and click it with your fire button, which is your left, your left mouse button. Then you're going to come down to the bottom right corner and do the exact same thing. Click it, and then you're going to actually see it's going to drag the X, and you'll have to go to the center and click it again. Now your mouse is calibrated. Now this is where that other letter comes into play. This is because it believes that there are two different light guns for the game. In this case, like I told you, whatever letter you assign to that second gun as the fire button, in my case it's the letter G, you're going to hit it on the keyboard so that it goes 1, 2, and then the center 3, and then you're back to this menu. You're not actually calibrating the second gun because you don't have one. You just needed to do it in order to get out of the menu. Okay? So now you're back at the gun calibration. Use your minus and plus to get down to exit. Okay? Hit F2. And it should start the game right back up after a short thing here. There we go. We're back to this text. And in a minute you will see that the game will start up. So hopefully, there we go. When the moon is full. Okay guys, I had to turn the sound down because it was overtaking my voice here. I put a couple credits in and then we're starting up. You can see that the reticle is moving well perfectly with my mouse with the assignment. So we'll see if the reassignment of the reload works alright. We'll wait for the jester to get through with his little speech here, and we'll get started. And here we go. So I'm able to fire with my left mouse button, and then I just click my right and it reloaded. I realize you can't actually see that, but you can take my word for it. But the reassignment obviously has worked. I could still use my Alt key if I want to reload as well. Okay. And we're back to our main menu here. So hopefully that helped you guys clear things up with how you calibrate and or change any of the buttons on CarnEvil. If you have any questions about what I've shown you here, just go ahead and shoot me a comment and I'll try to answer any questions for you. I did write the instructions on the original CarnEvil video in the description on how to do this. I'll probably copy and paste those as well in this description. So hopefully everybody gets this tutorial straight so that they can enjoy the game. Okay, so this is Vincent signing off, and enjoy playing CarnEvil.